Right. So, welcome to this new chapter where we are discussing how to implement a model from scratch. We want to see now how do we build this large language model further. So, um, we are now going to building the LLM, the large language model. Because in the previous video, in the previous chapter, we discussed the attention mechanism. Attention mechanism, it is one part of a large language model or a transformer network. It is one part, but it's a crucial part, but it is just one part. And in this chapter, we are going to build other parts of that architecture. So if we are to look at what we are going to be doing, what we have right now is we will have text such as every step or every effort moves you. That's the text that we have, and it is the input text that is then going to get into the tokenizer, gets converted into the tokenized text by the tokenizer, right? And that tokenized text would then be embedded. It will get into the embedding layer. I think we've discussed these topics, right? These two, we have discussed how tokenization works, and we have discussed the embedding, how the embedding will work. Then, after being embedded, it then goes into this block, this big block here. That text goes into this big block, and that is where in at that stage, this is where we now have this that I'm just drawing here. Let me just draw it properly. Yeah. So we'll now have this block here, and this block, it is what we're calling now the transformer block. So outside here, going back there, we're not really using that transformer block. It is now after we have embedded. Now we jump into the transformer block, and we have discussed the masked multi-head attention. We discussed it in the previous chapter. There's that masked head attention. And now there are other ones that we are going to discuss, other parts of this transformer block to finish coding the transformer block or to finish building. Because once we discuss those, they will then pass this to the output layers. Pass this to the output layers, and the output layers will do what they do. So this, what we have, actually, include, it's supposed to include this as well. Yeah. So that outside box there, this is what is the GPT model. The GPT model. So yes, that's the GPT model. The transformer block then starts here. So ignore this line. Ignore this line. Embedding layer is part of the GPT model. So that's what we implemented. The embedding layer we implemented. We implemented the multi-head attention mechanism. Now we are going to see what are going to be these dots there, the dots that we're going to do in this chapter. So in this chapter, what we are going to do is we are going to create a GPT backbone. It's just going to be the backbone of what a GPT model is. So GPT backbone. That's what we are going to build first, and then we'll start adding. So first we're going to build this, and then second we're going to now show, we're going to add something called layer normalization. We're going to discuss layer normalization. We're going to discuss how to do layer normalization. We are going to discuss GALU activation. If you have done any deep learning, we've trained deep neural networks, you might know ReLU activation. Here we'll be discussing GELU activation. We'll see or what that looks like. And then four, we are going to discuss the feed forward network that comes to close towards the end. And then we are going to discuss shortcut connections. Right at the beginning of this course, I did say in upcoming chapter we are going to have shortcuts. You might remember me just briefly saying out that statement. And then the six, all those, we will see how they are now wrapped into the transformer block. So these will now get into the transformer block. So we'll see how they are added to this transformer block. And when they are added to the transformer block, what we'll now do, or what will come out with, hopefully, it will be the final GPT architecture. The final GPT architecture. So those are the 7 steps that we are going to take in this chapter. And I'm quite excited for us to discuss these steps, because once we have those in the next chapter, now we can start really working with these GPTs. We now understand how they are how the data is used. We understand the architecture of these models, and then later on we'll understand how to fine tune them, and then we'll be done with this course. So in the next video, let's start by building this backbone that we want to start building here, this transformer backbone, and we'll build on top of it. So stay tuned for the next video.